Sometimes the best stories in golf aren't found on tour. You'll find them at the back of the range. And here's your host, Ben Adelberg.
And once again, welcome to the back of the range. I am your host, Ben Adelberg. This is episode 211. I made it back from Kiowa Island in South Carolina. Always good to get together with some friends for some golf and a couple drinks. And some golf, maybe a couple more drinks. You get the picture. But I got to play the Ocean Course. And as someone that is a big fan of the Ryder Cup, which will be contested at Whistling Straits in a few weeks, and a course that I personally played, it's nice to visit the site of the 1991 Ryder Cup. As we move into the fall collegiate season, a couple teams are off to a hot start. No surprise that the Oklahoma State Cowboys went out to Pebble Beach and captured the Carmel Cup with a one-shot victory over Oklahoma. Texas A&M captured the team and individual titles at the Marquette Intercollegiate held at Erin Hills. One of the Aggies is the guest on this week's episode. My fall travel schedule kicks off with another visit to Dallas. Yes, I'm heading back to Maridoe, a very special place that I'm very familiar with, to cover the Maridoe Collegiate. And while you've seen my pictures and videos of Maridoe on all of the Back of the Range's social media channels, you'll be able to see the play covered live on Golf Channel. Many of the best programs in the country will be there: Texas, SMU, Arizona State, Oklahoma, and yes, the defending champions, Oklahoma State. My guest on this episode is Sam Bennett from Texas A&M. Him and the Aggies will be looking to make it 2 in a row at Maridoe. Sam is a first-team All-American coming off of a 3-win season, and he currently sits in the top 5 of the PGA Tour U rankings. And for a kid from Madisonville, Texas, to find himself playing in a PGA Tour event and eventually becoming a member of the Palmer Cup team representing the United States of America, well, he's a great story, and one that needs to be shared here at the back of the range. So let's get started. Sam, thanks for joining me. How are you?
Good. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. We've crossed paths at amateur tournaments and collegiate tournaments, I think, for better part of a couple of years now. So I'm glad we're able to find some time to talk just as you're basically returning to College Station at Texas A&M. You are not one of those lowly freshmen that are coming in saying, oh, my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? How nice is it to get back on campus as someone that's done it before? You kind of know what to expect. What are the first few days of getting back to school look like?
Oh, nothing. Just, always like to not really practice or do too much. Just kind of like to go up to our facility and, not even dress in golf clothes. Just kind of go up there in shorts and a T-shirt and, see all the new freshmen that are there and just talk to the coaches and, mess around with the guys and just make sure I get everything kind of, organized and ready. Sounds stupid, but clean my room, make sure that's good, get all books and papers, stuff organized. But mainly just kind of, hanging out. And, we have this tradition up in Aggie Lane. It's called Howdy Week. So, a lot of the students, there's lots of, parties going on and people going to the pool and people just kind of hanging out with their friends and whoever before the first week of school starts. So it's actually pretty fun and relaxing.
I was going to say that does sound fun. I did not see anyone call me and invite me to that. So, but it must be nice when you have another fresh crop of freshmen / van washers, so that they can handle all the grunt work on that happens on every single college team. But I'm sure you're going to have a lot of opportunities to kind of impart some wisdom. Because again, they're your teammates and they're coming in trying to help you guys compete for a championship, and you got to get them up to speed as quickly as possible. What were some of the things that your upperclassmen helped you with when you were a freshman?
Well, first I would say, this is what they helped me with, and that's what I tell the freshmen that I see is they're all, so nervous and overwhelmed with not knowing where to go with classes and nervous about the coaches. They really never, played in front of the coaches, and they get psyched out about qualifying the first. Because my first qualifier round in college, I was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my golf history qualifying for the first tournament. Just, you kind of want to prove yourself, and
sure,
you think you're your teammates like care, like, dang, like this guy's a freshman, and you kind of want to prove to your teammates that, like, like why you're here and that you're good. But I always tell the freshmen, like I told we got P Shock from Thailand and Dallas Hankover from Temple. I told him the other day, I was like, look, don't take qualifying, like, every freshman I see, like, takes qualifying, like, really serious, is like so uptight. And once you, like, learn, like, after like 2 qualifiers, is like literally like we're just out there like having a good time, just like messing around. Like, I mean, it's obviously you're playing for score and treating it like a tournament, but it's more so laid back. But I mean, just kind of what I learned is from the upperclassmen told me is just, not to rush anything, and just really manage your time, and really just to be organized. Because, I mean, especially coming from high school and a small high school like I did, and Dallas and the other guy from overseas, I mean, it's going to be a lot different. You just gotta kind of find out where everything is and stay organized, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, because I mean, there is the golf to play, and there's also navigating the social aspect of a big school. But at some point, you guys probably need to go to a class or two every once in a while. So you have to kind of do a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, actually, my advisor, I haven't been. I've in like 2 years, I haven't been on campus because I prefer not to. I mean, honestly, not to go to class and just do all online classes. And I
Okay.
mean, part of the reason COVID happened, so pretty much all of them were online anyways. But my advisors, I mean, I never really had a good routine, and I have a little too much free time on my hands, as coach would say, and he doesn't really like that. So my advisor this year, I picked my classes, and he saw that they're all online again, and he switched them to 3 in class. So I'll be on campus for 3 classes this year, and that'll be the first time in like 2 years. But it'll be good because I do need to be more organized and actually go to class and kind of get on the schedule, so to say.
Yeah, be like a regular college student, and
Yeah.
yeah, good for you. Yeah, there's a whole big world out there. Just
Yeah.
go socialize. Well, you came to Texas A&M by way of Madisonville, Texas. That's where you grew up. I guess it's about 45 minutes away from College Station, and lots to get to with Madisonville. I always like to kind of talk about how my guests get into the game, who introduced them to golf, and also the facilities they had to use when they were a kid. Some are lucky enough to play at really get in good with coaching and have the best country clubs and facilities. Other people come to the game in random ways, and I want to know, and I think a lot of people would be interested to know how you got into the game. So talk to me a little bit about Madisonville, Texas, and I believe the 9-hole facility is at Fannin Oaks. Is that where you started playing golf?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, correct. I started playing I mean, there's pictures when I was like probably like 2 years old. Ever since you got that plastic clubs, and my dad and grandpa played golf out there, and I mean, I just started playing. I lived about probably less than a mile from our little 9-hole course, and I mean, literally, I'd go out there every day from I mean, like 8 in the morning until nighttime, and whether I was playing or just sitting in the clubhouse or going to the pool, I mean, it was out there. And I mean, I used to tell people all the time in stories. I mean, we used to go out there in bathing suits and swim trunks, like tank tops, bare feet, just out there messing around. And yeah, but it was tough. I mean, growing up in Madisonville, like I said, on that 9-hole course, I mean, uh, Oakmont's first cut of rough rolled better than our greens. But I mean, it gave us. I mean, they had a decent, driving range, and I mean, if it wasn't for that 9-hole course, I mean, I wouldn't be where I was today. And then once I got about 12 or 13, I guess 12 to 14, when started winning some tournaments, and I guess when Dad thought I could, pursue this game to the college level, we joined out at Traditions where us Aggies practice at, and then once I turned probably we'd go over there, all my family and my 2 brothers and dad, and we'd play on the weekends. And then once I got 16 where I could drive, I'd drive up here pretty much every day to practice because you can't really get too much practice done out there. I mean, you can hit shots and stuff, but as far as putting, you can't really do much. But yeah, once I got about 16, I mean, I pretty much lived out at Traditions in College Station since it's only like 45 minutes away.
So I'm just another thing I have to ask about Madisonville because I'm just a complete research nerd. Talk to me about the annual Mushroom Festival at Madisonville in Madisonville, Texas. You know, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's good. I used to love going to it. We'd go every year when I was younger, and I used to love just walking around the square and getting funnel cakes and cotton candy, and
sure.
They have these things where they used to have these marshmallow guns that me and my buddies used to get. You put marshmallows in. It was like a blowgun for marshmallows, and
right.
we used to just shoot them. And there's a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, it was cool. I mean, they actually did away with the Mushroom Festival about 2 years ago. I don't know why that is though.
Well, that's not good. They need to bring that back.
Yeah. But we have the Buc-ee's. That's what we're known for.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that direction because basically, it sounds like it's known for the Buc-ee's is basically just a convenience store, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh. But they're pretty solid.
All right. I mean, let's see. Is it better than a Wawa or better than like a racetrack? Like,
I don't know any of those. I mean, it's just like, you can get anything to. They have my favorite beef jerky in the world by far. The best fudge. You can order food, any candy you want, ices. You can buy stuff to put in your house there.
So if you wanted to get an NIL deal, I mean, we're not going to jump too drastically into that topic because that's like the hottest topic right now in college sports. But if you were to get an NIL deal, and forget about the big, club companies and cars, let's just keep it, hometown NIL deal for Madisonville, Texas. What would be a company that you would want to be lined up with in just a dream scenario?
Hometown. Maybe. I think it'd be kind of cool to. This is gonna sound crazy.
That's okay. It's a crazy question, so it's okay.
There's this little taco stand in Madisonville.
Yes.
Best tacos, and I used to go there every morning before school. And I mean, everybody that comes through Madisonville stops there, and it's just literally a little. I mean, you can sit down and eat, but every time I still go back to Madisonville, I go. It's called the Taco Place, and I still go there. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Of course, that's what it's called.
There's really not much. I mean, you got your normal, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Subway, and then Brooks Brothers and Walmart, and then one Mexican food restaurant and a Dairy Queen. That's about it.
We need to get some golf towels or head covers or hats, something to the taco place. I see this. I see this happening for you next summer on the amateur circuit. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Well, I was just about to ask also, how does Texas A&M come into the picture? I mean, obviously by proximity and growing up and being a member at the club, a tradition, but you have a really solid junior career, runner up in the Junior Valero, you have top 5 finishes with AJGA. You're either if you weren't winning a state high school championship, you're a runner up in one. So you have a really good junior career. I mean, I'm guessing you're getting the recruiting trips offered to you. I mean, what was your kind of recruiting process like before choosing A&M? Were you going and looking at other schools just because you could, or did you pretty much know that you were going to be an Aggie?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, originally growing up, I kind of, I originally wanted to go to. I mean, this was before I knew anything. I mean, I always heard of Georgia Tech and Georgia.
Sure.
That was just because I wanted to play Augusta, and they're so called the one of the powerhouse of college golf, I'd say. And,
right.
And I for sure wanted to stay in the Southeast. And about I was getting, letters, I didn't really reach out. I mean, I didn't know nothing about it being from Madisonville, and my family's never been educated about the recruiting process. My older brothers haven't. So it was kind of nice. I mean, that I was, I guess, like good enough where they kind of reached out to me first, and, once that started happening, I guess Tech offered me a pretty uh, high scholarship when I was in 8th grade, and I took a visit up there. And then me and my dad went up there, and I, I mean, I love Sands and Alcorn. When I mean, Alcorn left, but I still love Sands. He was my, we'll get to that later, but he was the Palmer Cup coach this year, and
Yeah.
he was awesome, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to go there originally, just because how much I like Sands and Alcorn. But then I got out there and I was like, man, I don't want to be 7 hours away from home.
Sure.
So then I mean, I always thought, A&M was going to be the one with my uncle, my second oldest brother, my dad. My mom would have went to A&M if she would have had the money, and just my cousins went there. I mean, pretty much. I mean, you kind of get bred into being an Aggie. There's kind of no choice, really.
Gotcha.
Yeah, family going there, you go there. But I really, I mean, it was good. It was close for me, 45 minutes away, and I mean, we have one of the best. I mean, definitely top 5 practice facilities in the country. And Traditions is a really tough course, and I loved originally I loved Coach Higgins and Cortana a lot, and they're a good fit. So inevitably I was able to get offer there from I guess my sophomore year. But it was kind of weird. I guess I didn't really play much junior golf. I mean, I never got invited to. I wasn't good enough to get into any AJGA invitationals. I just kind of, it took me forever to get. I guess they still do it, like fully exempt on the
Sure.
AJGA, and then I just play in, like the junior Byron Nelson, or pretty much the 3 AJGAs they had in Texas each summer, like the one at UT Club, the one at TVC San Antonio, and then usually they had one in Dallas. So I'd pretty much just play like 3 or 4 of those a summer.
Well, but the good thing is that if you're going to play in AJJ events and it's not an invitational, you're playing right in the hotbed where there's a lot of great talent. I mean, you're playing it. This isn't a, if there's one state to pick that you want to play those tournaments in, Texas, that's a pretty good place to be. So
Yeah, correct.
one thing also before I ask you a little bit about last year, which I know really was kind of your breakout season at Texas A&M. Obviously you have a great ability to go low and shoot low scores. True or false? Your lowest round of your life is a 55.
Yeah, it's correct. And it was at Madisonville, and people still don't. It's just crazy it kind of makes me mad, because not mad, but people see that I shot 55 and they're thinking like it must be a drive, chip, and putt
Sure.
course. But I mean, it's 6,600 yards. Like, it's not just a drive and chip. And that is by far the craziest, still to this day, the craziest thing I've ever done. Like, that was the most. I mean, it was insane. My brother and my grandpa witnessed it, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, and the thing is I shot in 55 out there, and then I shot in 159 and 161, and then a couple 62. So it wasn't just like, like every time you shoot, like you take it like insanely deep out there. So it was pretty. And then I'll go out there and like I'll take some of my college buddies out there. And
I was just gonna say, like, that has to be the coolest thing.
Yeah, because they're like, like, you shot 55, like, let's go see. And we'll go out there and they'll get mad because they'll shoot like, like 69 or 70. I'm like, see, like, it's not just like what you think it would be by like looking at the score.
So if I was going to, I mean, I'm sure you've told the story of this round many times, but, this isn't like the typical 59 where, I was coming down and I had to par in, or I had to make birdie on the last,
Yeah.
This is a little bit unique. So, and the other thing is you had 3 pars.
Yeah.
And you parred the first hole.
Well, so it was kind of weird. So I played originally, it was on a Sunday, and I was gonna, it was me and my brother, like I said, and I was originally only going to play 9 holes because my girlfriend, we're going to like the mall or something that afternoon.
Uh-huh.
And I parred the first hole, and I was like, okay, like whatever. And then I birdied 2 through 9. So I shot 8 on the front, and then I called her. I was like, hey, like, I got to finish this. Like, I got to finish 9. And then birdied 10, and then I was like, okay, like just make like 4 more birdies, just get to 13, then kind of just coast in, shoot 59. I mean, obviously, like every golfer, like I don't care what you say, like when you're that deep, like
At some point,
you're thinking about 59, like you can't just not think about it. And so when I got to about 10, I was like, okay, like got 2 par 5s left, like a lot of short holes. I mean, obviously every hole is pretty short, but then I eagled a par 5, number 4. So I guess it was 13. I was 13 under through 13. I made like a 50-yard pitch shot, and then I was like,
God.
and then I was 13 under after 13, and I was like pretty nervous. I was like, all right, just par the last whatever holes, and then I holed out. I birdied like 15, and then eagled 16, and then par 8 and birdie 9. But honestly, like I was literally just trying to shoot like 50 in the 50s for the first time ever, but it just putts just kept on going in.
Oh my God. How quickly did that spread in Madisonville at the golf course? I'm guessing this is not the first time you've recounted that story.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think there's a sign up in the clubhouse, and everybody just didn't believe it. It got out pretty. It got out pretty quick. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, honestly, I don't care, but I thought it was going to get out kind of more in the like golfing world, like
Sure.
ESPN or something. They're like tagging stuff and everything, but yeah, it got out pretty quick, and everybody was just so kind of astonished. But I wish everybody could see the actual course, and because it's not as easy as you think it would be.
Well, I'm glad you shared that, and I really am glad that you bring your teammates there every once in a while, because that's
I
cool.
was telling Coach I always tell Coach we need to go out there and play a couple qualifying out there.
Yeah, that might be a slight home course advantage when you might I guess if there's 4 spots available, that's fine, but really you're going to get the number 1. We can just leave you out of it.
Yeah.
So the one thing I wanted to ask you too is, you have this great season last year. You win 3 individual events, 3 major ones. I mean, Cabo, Waverly, your own home tournament. We'll get to that in a minute, but winning at the collegiate level, I guess winning at any level. We're recording this a couple days, or actually a day after Finau finally won again at the Northern Trust. It's hard to win. Do you have any idea what kind of opened the floodgates for you last year that kind of got you on this? I mean, I guess you won 3 tournaments in 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that. I mean, you didn't win your freshman or sophomore season, and then all of a sudden, here we go.
Freshman, sophomore season, I mean, I've always been a ball striker, always could strike the ball good, kept it in play, just pound greens. And freshman, sophomore year, I mean, honestly, like if this makes sense, I was kind of content with just, shooting around par and taking my top 20 finish and moving on to the next week. I never really cared about winning. I don't know why. I don't know if I had no belief or what it was, but I was literally content with just, I'd be 3 under at some point in my freshman and college career and be like, okay, just like coast in. And
this is good enough.
Dude, yeah, this is fine. Like just coast in. You can afford a couple bogeys. Like just, you'll be a counting score for your team and you'll get a top 20 and you'll do whatever. And then I talked to Coach after my sophomore year. My freshman, sophomore year, I just pounded top 25s. I think there's like 1 or 2 maybe that I was outside the top 25, but it was always really consistent. And the only thing holding me back was my putting. And that was because, I never really, practiced putting enough or did anything with that, had no confidence. And then I think it was last year fall, I practiced putting a lot, but it didn't really pay off for me. And then I got to, our first tournament of the spring at the Border Olympics in Laredo, and I had like a 4-shot lead. It was a small tournament, like a really small tournament, not a very strong field, but I still had a 4-shot lead. And I choked it. I shot like 43 on the back 9, and my teammate won it. And then I was pretty pissed off. And then, but I mean, I was happy for him, but I was mad the way I played. And
Right.
then, I just kept at it. And, I really think if I wouldn't have lost that golf tournament later, I wouldn't have won the Cabo tournament. And then, I mean, honestly, I'd just say my putter got hot. I mean, I've always struck the ball good, like I said, and I just started finally putting together, making putts. Like freshman and sophomore year, I think I averaged like losing like close to 3.5 strokes per round putting. I mean, those stats are kind of a little skewed just because if you hit a lot of greens, your
Yeah.
putting's not going to be too great. But I switched to a Callaway 2-ball putter that I just absolutely fell in love with. And honestly, dude, I just got hot with the putter. And once I got that first win and at Cabo that, gave me the exemption of Valero, which was just huge. I mean, that was the first time I really felt pressure other than, playing a match play in the SECs or match play my freshman year at Nationals at the Blessings and some big matches. But coming down, trying to win a, golf tournament and getting a PGA Tour event, we know that's on the line. When I had, Reband and Garrett Reband and John Pack right behind me, that kind of what I was, able to do. And then once I got that first win, I wasn't content with 20th place anymore. I wanted to keep on winning, and still even this summer, like I mean, every time I teed up, if I'm not winning, it's nearly like it's not fun. Like being in contention is fun, and so like every week now I teed up expecting to win, and it's more about really nowadays about perspective to me. Back in the day, like I said, I was content with just getting a good finish, but now every time I teed up, I'm playing to win.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a great perspective to have, and really chasing down the victory, and getting out of that rut of like, well, this is good enough. This is safe. I've earned my spot on the team. I earned my spot in the traveling squad, and
exactly like freshman sophomore year, I was just kind of focused, like just like you said, just shoot good scores, kind of decent scores, stay in it. Like qualifying doesn't mean a crazy much if you just kind of, always wanted the counting scores and put up good finishes, play consistent. Like you said, you just kind of earned your spot and just, because that's a big part about, like freshman, sophomore, I just wanted to kind of stay in the lineup all year.
So the other thing too is you also have to have the acknowledgement that not every week that you teed up against the best collegiate players or amateurs in the country or professionals for that matter, that just like everyone else, I mean, there's going to be weeks where you just don't have it, where the punting is off, or you can't hit you're not hitting it through the window with your driver the way you like to. And maybe your best is going to be actually getting like a backdoor T19 or something like that.
That's exactly. Well, I'll tell you that story. This, like you said, I was really mad. I really wanted to, after getting all those wins, I really wanted to tee it up, and I won our home tournament right before I run the Aggie right before we had headed conference, and I played pretty bad the first day, and then pretty bad the second day too, and I had a bad front nine on the third round, and our team top 8 go to match play in the SEC, and we're like right on the bubble, and I was like really fed up, just like mad, like really wanted to walk off the course, but coach like settled me down, and he was like, look, like I didn't care about what I was going to finish, like I knew it. I was like, look, I'm gonna play a good back nine for my team, and stay in it. And I shot like 4 under on the back nine, which ended up getting like T25th and helped the team out tremendously. And so like it's a little different because I'll get kind of mad in amateur golf because when I'm playing bad, because like I'm just like I'm not winning. But in college it's different because I'm always trying to grind, and sometimes you can grind out a 75 or shoot 32 on the back nine and put up a decent round when 76 could be a 75, 76 could be a counting score, which could be huge.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than giving up on a round and know you gave up on a round and limped in with a 77 or a 76, and and another teammate's having a really bad day and they're grinding and they get one worse than you or one one better than you, and you need to always be pushing all 18 holes because it's not just you that you're playing for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in college I do a really good job at that, and then in amateur golf, sometimes I just not give up, but it's like I have like nothing to like play for. But in college, I'm always fighting. I mean, I'm a big team player. I mean, I love when we get the team win better than individually, because winning with the teams just mean awesome.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that a little bit later about the Aggie Invitational. Before I do that, though, let's talk a little bit about Cabo. That has been a hot piece of conversation on this podcast for quite some time. Not only about the great golf, but there's great tournaments all over the country with great fields. I mean, when you're at a D1 school like yours, whether it's UCLA, A&M, Georgia, Florida, it doesn't matter. Any SEC, Big 12, any conference, there's great tournaments all over the country. But this one gets brought up quite a bit, especially when, I'm talking to Perico and he's telling me about him and Pac are just destroying the taco trucks there. I also see, they have the really cool things off the golf course, whether it's, a night softball game or the dinners. And of course you're at a beautiful resort and you're riding in carts. I mean, this is like spring break. This isn't really, I mean, this does it feel like a golf tournament?
Yeah. I mean, well, usually when it's in Cabo, it's absolutely like awesome. I mean, Cabo is my favorite place in the world, and like Perico said, I mean, those tacos are just absolutely great. And usually when we go to Cabo, we'll stay in these I don't know if you know BA, but she runs that tournament. She supports, all college golf really good, and she does I mean, it's the best run tournament in college golf by far, and the best field. And yeah, I mean, it feels like golf when you're out there, but I mean, outside of it, I mean, especially when you're in Cabo, you're living the life. But this year, I mean, it was at San Antonio because we couldn't go there because of COVID reasons. But next year going back. But I mean, it is by far the best tournament in college golf.
So, well, I do know BA, and she'll be happy to hear that. I'm trying to figure out an angle to get her on this podcast to talk a little bit about the Cabo Collegiate, like a preview episode to the Cabo on the back of the range. I'm trying to make that happen.
Yeah,
and,
that'd be.
Yeah, I think there's a chance because I know she's listening to this episode right now. So I think we're going to need to push harder on her for the next couple months to make that happen.
Yeah.
But you get you get this win. It also gets you into the Valero Texas Open, and obviously that's a big stage. But also, like I mentioned, winning at Old Waverly, and then your Aggie Invitational, and that's a tournament where you have a lot of the big schools, the ones that your rivals, whether they're in the conference or not. And I just was about to ask you, like, what's a bigger thrill, winning a Cabo Collegiate individual title that gets you into a PGA Tour event, or winning with your team at your home tournament on your home turf? I mean, I know it's really not a fair question whatsoever, but at least it shows how much of a team guy you are, that it's going to give you pause.
Yeah, I mean, coming down the stretch at Cabo was pretty thrilling. I mean, knowing what was on the line with the exemption, and I had to hit some pretty clutch shots coming down the stretch, but I'd say winning at the Aggie was better because my freshman year, we only got to play 18 holes, and I was paired with Matt Wolf the first day, and he shot 5 under and I shot 4 under, so I was one back going into the last 2 days. But then rain came through, and then my sophomore year, we had COVID, so we didn't get to play that tournament. And then coming off 2 wins, heading into my home tournament, the course I've been playing at since I was 12 years old. I mean, I couldn't wait to, get out there and compete. And I mean, everybody knows it on the team. And like, I don't know how to sound cocky, but no one's gonna beat me out there at Traditions.
You got to beat yourself.
I've been playing there since I was 12, and I just know that course so good, and don't even have to read the greens. But it was fun teeing it up, and getting the team win at our home tournament when we really didn't. I don't think that was one of our first big wins. Taking down Oklahoma in the playoff was pretty cool. And there's the Aggie fan base is just great. So the Aggies out there cheering. But that was definitely the coolest moment. Well, honestly, the coolest moment this year actually was probably, even though you didn't ask, was probably coming.
No, tell me, man.
After Old Waverly, the second one this season, coach flew me private from Mississippi to San Antonio. So I got to win a college tournament and then hop on a private jet knowing I'm about to tee it up in the PGA Tour event. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't done that quite yet. A lot. You don't get a lot of private jet rides when you have your own golf podcast. I think it's coming. Any day now, it's going to happen. But yeah, I bet you didn't even know what to do on that private jet, did you?
No, I knew exactly what to do. We're just not going to say what I did.
Diet Cokes and pretzels. I understand. No problem. Another great thing that you got to experience after just this really great 21 is playing Palmer Cup. And, we could talk about the golf and, I know that the USA picked up the victory but I just love Palmer Cup because it's both men and women, and you just get, obviously it has an international feel to it. So you just get to see, a lot of international players that play here in the United States in college, but there's just incredible people that you meet. If it's not golf related, so I don't want to know about the golf. I mean, you picked up a couple 1.5, and team had a successful week. But give me a story from the Palmer Cup that maybe is not golf related. Off the golf course, people that you meet, just to kind of illustrate how special this week is.
Me and 5 of the guys and 5 of the girls went out. After USA got the victory,
sure,
we went to Chicago and it was pretty fun. But I mean, other than that, I mean, you do meet a lot of good people, and all the players are nice on both teams, and you get to just communicate with the coaches and dress up nice and eat good dinner, and it was kind of cool. At Rich Harvest Farms was probably the best, other than Oakmont, was probably the best manicure place I've ever seen, and we got to go see, I don't know if you know Jerry Rich, but the owner of that club, and he has like he has like 100 like old timey cars that are just absolutely incredible, and there's just, I mean, everything's just neat about the Palmer Cup. It was a really cool experience. It was it wasn't as good as it should have been for me. I mean, just because 2 days, I didn't think I was going to play in the Palmer Cup actually, because 2 days prior to me flying out to the Palmer Cup, or I think it was 1 day prior, my dad passed away. And so I didn't think I was going to go, just with, visitation and funerals and just not being, mentally ready. But
yeah,
my kids and mom and brother, I checked on them and make sure everything was good with that, and that I was, able to play. And I wasn't going to, I didn't want to miss that opportunity, because I mean, that's playing Palmer Cup's kind of once in a lifetime type of deal. And everybody told me, my brothers, my mom, and grandpa, that dad wouldn't want me to sit in Madisonville and just soak and do nothing. He'd want me to tee it up and represent my country playing college golf, and he probably thought that would have been the coolest thing ever if he would have known. So I mean, it was a little different. I mean, playing with that on my mind, going there, it wasn't, quite the, but I mean, it was a good experience, but it could have been a little better, just not having that, happen right there. But, it was pretty cool too. Also, my fellow teammates, voted me to, there's like a vote, and they voted me to, I get to tee it up in the Arnold Palmer Invitational in March, which is going to be pretty incredible. So I'm really extremely thankful for that, and all their respect, and just them looking out for me, because that's going to be a pretty cool deal.
So what you're talking about there, Sam, is the Michael. Obviously, it's the Michael Carter Award, and it really is a award that's voted on by every member that's playing in the Palmer Cup. It goes to one person, and it's just to honor a former Palmer Cup intern that passed away in an automobile accident back in 2002. And yeah, I think that says a lot about your character, but I think also about the people that were there and just recognizing, what you were going through, and also just what kind of character you had to be there and participate and just help your team, compete. I love stories like that, and I think also just what the Palmer Cup stands for, and then your ability to go play in another PGA Tour event, which kind of leads me into the next question I wanted to ask. What did you learn at the Valero Texas Open that you will take into your next PGA Tour start at Bay Hill?
Yeah, well, teeing it up at the Valero was just something I really I couldn't prepare for. I mean,
No.
I was prepared. I mean, with golf game, but just the nerves and I was standing there on the first tee when my name got announced, and there weren't even too many fans. I mean, I had a good amount of people from Madisonville come out and watch, but I could barely get the ball on the tee box on the tee on the first box, and you're nervous when you're just thinking about not even where it goes, just about solid contact, and so I was nervous. I mean, I could never, that first round I could never get comfortable, and I shot like 80 and it showed. And then the second round I played pretty good. I mean, I shot even, and the cut was 4 over, so if I could have played just decent, it wasn't just easy. I mean, that's a pretty tough course, and that tournament helped me a lot, and I know it did because once after that I played in the Aggie, and then was close coming down the stretch at regionals. I'll end up losing by 1, and I mean my nerves have just were like nothing under pressure, like nothing really phases me after kind of experiencing that, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Going from that to coming down the stretch in a college tournament, I felt nothing, and I'll be prepared more for the next one, just because it was my first one, and I was just pretty nervous and could never get comfortable out there. But I learned a lot from those, really from the pros out there. I mean, just how much work they put in. I mean, Spieth was out there. I guess his tee time was like 2:00, and I had a morning tee time, and he was out there putting at 9:00 in the morning. And when he didn't tee off till 2, and then Mickelson got done with his round, and he already missed the cut, and it was Friday afternoon, and he was still sitting on the range, banging drivers on TrackMan, and Hideki was just out there like all day. Like those guys, I just show like those guys, they don't mess around out there, not one bit.
Yeah, I was kind of talking to probably in a previous episode, but also talking to people because I was just on the road for 4 weeks, and saw the Western and USAM, and I don't think the casual golf fan, whether they're following the amateur side, pro side, whatever, I don't think they have any idea how much work you guys put into it. I mean, I remember being at Glenview at the Western, and that putting green. You see a couple people say hi, how's life, how's school, how's this, how's that. But for the most part, there are tees in the ground, every sort of putting drill and putting aid you can think of. And people are, you guys are working. It's a lot of work. And that's one thing I just don't think people understand. So I'm not surprised to hear those stories, but and it's really good that you picked up on that.
Yeah. And that's just, something I, never really kind of, not that I put in, so much work now, but mainly with putting, I have been putting in a lot of work, but, originally growing up on that 9-hole course, and then just kind of doing whatever, I'd just go and, play 18 holes a day and then call it a day. But I've kind of learned, if you want to, once if you want to be elite, you do gotta, everybody, you gotta outwork some people.
Oh yeah, you have to, because when you get to that level, and the level you're at right now, everyone has talent, everyone hits it far, everyone's got great short games. It's just who's working at it.
Exactly.
Before I let you go, I know you have a nice fall season you're looking forward to at Texas A&M. Obviously, competing for a national championship, competing for an SEC championship. You got to get that one first before you move on to Greyhawk. But before I let you go, I'm probably a 1 or a 2 handicap, depending on where I'm playing. How many shots are you going to give me in Madisonville if we go play your home course? Give me. I mean, how many? What are you going to do for me here? I mean,
you're about a one or two.
I'm about one or two. I mean, from the 67, 800 yard tees. I mean, I'm not playing 70. I'm old, man. I'm old. I'm not playing.
I'd probably, man, because you gotta. It's just nobody can putt those greens like I can.
Okay.
I've learned how to kind of forward press it, put some top spin on it, and just roll it. I'd probably have to give you probably 3 on the front and 4 on the back.
Okay.
I mean, I'm shooting usually. I'd shoot maybe probably 3 and 3 is good because if you're 1, you'd probably. Yeah, I think 3 and 3 would be perfect.
Okay, well, we're not going to be playing for very much because that doesn't sound like a lot of strokes from a guy that, especially you're telling me about these.
If you're 1, I think you'd shoot out there. You'd probably shoot around 68 out there.
All right, well. Okay, well, I still think I'm getting snookered here, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just going to play for pretzels and Diet Cokes, so that's okay. Well, Sam, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you talking to me about just kind of your great career so far at A&M, and obviously PGA Tour U is a thing, and I believe you're currently number 2 in the preseason rankings, so that has to definitely have your attention. So it's going to be a great season. Look forward to watching you and following you all the way around the country, and I appreciate you stopping by the back of the range.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
And there you have it. Special thanks to Sam Bennett for joining me on this episode here at the Back of the Range. Don't forget, follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll be at the Merito Collegiate this weekend, so make sure you enjoy the coverage on the Golf Channel, and we'll see you again next time here at the Back of the Range.